Listen and find your English level. No test. You don't need a test. You don't need grammar questions. You don't need to stress or prepare anything. All you need to do is listen. In the next few minutes, your English level will reveal itself naturally, without pressure, without theory, without labels. Welcome to English Stories Podcast. This is not a lesson. This is not an exam. This is a listening journey. Today, you're going to hear a series of short English stories, each one slightly more difficult than the last. Your task is simple. Just listen and notice how it feels. If a story feels very easy, it's probably below your level. If it feels challenging, but you can still understand the main idea, that's likely your real level. And if it suddenly feels too fast, too complex, or too abstract, that's a sign you've reached the edge of your current ability. That moment is important, because that's where real learning begins. Many English learners spend years studying grammar, memorizing vocabulary, and taking tests, yet they still don't know how good their English actually is. They can answer questions, but they struggle to understand real spoken English. That's why this format works. Language is not meant to be tested on paper. It's meant to be heard, felt, and understood in context. Through stories about daily life, work, decisions, emotions, and reflections, your brain shows you the truth about your listening ability. There's no score here, no pass or fail, only awareness. And awareness is power. As you listen, don't translate every word. Don't pause. Don't analyze. Just relax and let the story flow. Let your ears do the work. Even if you don't understand everything, that's okay. Understanding the general meaning is what matters most. This podcast is designed for learners from A1 to C2, from complete beginners to near native speakers, all in one continuous experience. Wherever you are on that journey, you belong here. And if you find a level that feels just right for you, that's your signal. That's the level you should practice with daily. Listening, shadowing, repeating, slowly and consistently. Improvement doesn't come from pushing too hard. It comes from listening at the right level every day. If you enjoy learning English in a calm, story-based way, this channel is made for you. On English Stories Podcast, we help you improve your listening, vocabulary, and confidence naturally through simple stories, deep reflections, and real spoken English. So before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes designed to help you grow step by step. Put on your headphones, take a deep breath, and get ready. No test, no pressure, just listening. Let's begin and find your English level together. Now let me explain exactly how this listening test works so you can get the most accurate result without overthinking it. You will listen to the stories continuously, one after another, without stopping, without rewinding, and without looking at subtitles. This is very important. Real listening happens in real time, just like in real life. When someone speaks to you, you don't get to pause the conversation or translate every sentence in your head. So as you listen, stay relaxed and let the language come to you naturally. While you're listening, pay attention to your feeling. not to individual words. Your reaction is the key. If you listen to a story and everything feels very easy, if you understand almost every sentence without effort, if your mind feels calm and comfortable, then that level is below your current ability. It means your English has already moved past that stage, and that's a good thing. On the other hand, if you listen to a story and it feels slightly challenging, maybe you don't catch every word, but you understand the main idea, the situation, and the emotions, then you've found your real level. This is the sweet spot. This is where learning is most effective. It means your brain is working, but not struggling. You are engaged, focused, and curious. That's exactly how language grows. Now, if you reach a story where the sentences suddenly feel too long, the ideas feel unclear, and you find yourself lost, distracted, or tired, that story is probably above your current level. And that's completely normal. It doesn't mean your English is bad. It simply means you've reached the edge of your comfort zone. That edge is valuable information. It shows you where you are right now. Many learners make the mistake of forcing themselves to listen to content that is far too difficult, thinking it will make them improve faster. In reality, it often creates frustration and self-doubt. This method is different. It respects your current level and helps you build from there. Remember, you don't need to understand everything to succeed. You only need to understand enough to follow the story. Meaning comes first. Details come later. Another important point is honesty. Don't tell yourself you understand if you don't. Don't lower the volume of difficulty to protect your ego. This is a private test, just for you. Be honest with your experience, because that honesty will guide your learning path. Once you identify your level, use it as a starting point, not a label. Language is not fixed. It changes as you practice. The level that feels right today may feel easy a few months from now, and that's progress. This podcast is designed to support that journey. You can come back, listen again, and notice how your understanding grows over time. That's one of the most powerful ways to measure improvement. So as you continue listening, stay present, stay open, and trust your ears. Your English level is not something you need to guess. It will reveal itself naturally, one story at a time. As you move into the main part of this listening journey, the stories you are about to hear are carefully designed to guide you through each level of English, not just to test you, but to help you understand how language grows and how you can grow with it. At the A1 beginner level, English is simple, clear, and concrete. The stories focus on daily life because this is where language begins. You hear short sentences, common verbs, and familiar words about family, food, home, and routine. Nothing is abstract. Everything you hear can be pictured easily in your mind. This level is about safety and confidence. If you are a beginner, your goal is not speed or complexity. Your goal is understanding. When you listen to A1 stories, you should feel calm. You should feel that English is friendly, not threatening. This is where you train your ears to recognize basic sentence structure and everyday vocabulary. Many learners underestimate the power of this level, but strong foundations are what allow you to move forward without fear. Confidence starts here, when you realize that you can understand English, even if it's simple. As you move into A2 elementary level, the language becomes slightly richer and more connected. Stories still talk about daily life, but now you hear more detail. People describe their routines, their jobs, their free time, their plans for the weekend. Sentences become longer, ideas link together, and you start hearing cause and effect. This level trains you to follow a flow, not just individual sentences. You begin to understand how English connects thoughts naturally. At A2, you may not understand every word, but you can follow what is happening. This is where patience matters. Many learners feel stuck here because they want to jump ahead, but this level is where listening stamina develops. You learn to stay focused for longer periods and trust that meaning will come, even if some words are unclear. When you reach B1 Intermediate, something important changes. The stories are no longer just about what people do, but about why they do it. You hear thoughts, feelings, plans, and small reflections. The language becomes more flexible. Speakers talk about work challenges, learning experiences, and personal goals. This level teaches you to listen beyond words and understand intention. You start to recognize tone, attitude, and emotion. At B1, you may feel moments of uncertainty, but you can still follow the story as a whole. This is a powerful stage because it mirrors real-life conversations. You're no longer just learning English, you're using English to understand people. Improvement at this level comes from regular exposure and gentle repetition. This is where shadowing becomes especially effective because your brain is ready to imitate natural speech patterns. B2 Upper Intermediate is where English becomes expressive. Stories at this level often involve big decisions, life changes, risks, and personal growth. Vocabulary expands, sentences become more complex.
Deeper. You hear comparisons, reflections, and nuanced opinions. This level trains your ability to hold multiple ideas in your mind at once. You learn to follow longer explanations and connect details across the story. Emotion plays a stronger role here. Speakers talk about doubt, motivation, failure, and success. Listening at B2 helps you think in English instead of translating. This is often the level where learners begin to feel real fluency, but also real challenge. The key here is consistency. Don't rush. Let the language sink in naturally. When you listen regularly at this level, your confidence grows because you realize you can understand complex stories told in natural English. At C1 Advanced level, language becomes abstract and reflective. Stories move beyond events and focus on ideas like leadership, communication, responsibility, and mindset. Sentences are longer and more layered. The speaker connects ideas logically, often returning to earlier points and expanding on them. This level trains deep listening. You must stay mentally present and follow the structure of thought, not just the words. At C1, listening is no longer passive. It becomes active engagement. You begin to notice how rhythm, tone, and word choice shape meaning. This level is where English starts to feel like a tool for thinking, not just communication. Growth here comes from exposure to thoughtful content and repeated listening. It's normal to feel tired at first because your brain is working at a higher level. Finally, at C2 Proficient level, English sounds effortless, elegant, and emotionally rich.
Stories at this level explore philosophy, identity, time, meaning, and presence. Language flows with subtle rhythm. Words are chosen carefully, not for simplicity, but for precision and feeling. At this level, understanding is intuitive. You don't analyze, you sense meaning. Listening to C2 content helps you develop sensitivity to nuance and emotional depth. Even advanced learners benefit from this exposure, not to memorize words, but to absorb the music of the language. Reaching this level is not about perfection. It's about comfort, awareness, and expression. Across all levels, the most important thing to remember is that progress is not linear. Some days will feel easy, others will feel difficult. That's normal. This podcast is designed to support you wherever you are, without judgment or pressure. Use these stories not just to test yourself, but to train your ears, calm your mind, and build a long-term relationship with English. Listening regularly at the right level is one of the most powerful ways to improve. Trust the process. Trust your ears. And remember, every story you understand, even partially, is a step forward. As we come to the end of this listening journey, I want to remind you of one simple but powerful idea. Fluency is not a finish line. It's not something you reach one day and then stop. Fluency is a way of moving, a way of listening, a way of growing with the language over time. Wherever you are right now, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, or even C2, that level is not a limit. It's just a snapshot of today, and today is already enough to move forward. If one story felt easy and another felt challenging, that's not a problem. That's exactly how learning works. Language doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows through exposure, repetition, curiosity, and patience. What matters most is not how fast you move, but that you keep moving. Now that you've identified the level that feels right for you, use it wisely. Go back and listen to stories at that level again. Let your ears become familiar with the rhythm, the vocabulary, and the sentence patterns. Repetition is not boring when it's meaningful. Each time you listen again, your understanding deepens, even if you don't notice it immediately. This is how confidence is built, quietly, in the background. One of the most effective ways to improve from here is shadowing. Choose a story at your level, play it again, and try to speak along with the narrator. Don't aim for perfection, aim for flow. Let your voice follow the rhythm, the pauses, and the intonation. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a real difference over time. Shadowing trains your listening, your speaking, and your pronunciation at the same time. And it helps your brain connect sound with meaning naturally. Remember, you don't need to understand every word to improve. You only need to understand enough to stay engaged. Progress happens when your brain feels challenged, but not overwhelmed. That's why learning at the right level is so important. Be kind to yourself in this process.
Comparing yourself to others will only slow you down. Everyone's journey is different. What matters is consistency. Small steps taken daily lead to big change. If you're still here listening, that already says something important about you. It means you care. It means you're willing to invest time in yourself. And that mindset matters more than any test score or certificate. English is not just a subject. It's a tool that can open doors, connect you with people, and give you access to new ideas and stories. And you don't have to walk this path alone. That's why English Stories Podcast exists. This channel is here to support you with calm, story-based listening practice that fits into your real life. No pressure, no exams, just real English, one story at a time. If this episode helped you, take a moment now to subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you make sure you don't miss future episodes designed to help you improve naturally and confidently. New stories, new levels, new listening experiences are waiting for you. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me which level felt right for you today. Was it easier than you expected, or more challenging? Sharing your experience helps you reflect, and it also helps other learners realize they're not alone. And if you know someone who's learning English and feels lost or discouraged, share this episode with them. Sometimes the right story at the right moment can change how someone feels about learning. Before you go, take a second to acknowledge yourself. You listened. You reflected. You showed up. That's how fluency is built, not all at once, but moment by moment. Keep listening. Keep learning. And remember, fluency is not a finish line. It's a way of life. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next story.